The next item is Business Finance I, the IGA Intergovernmental Agreement with the City of Greeley, item number 1. And I'm going to throw that to you, Dr. Pilch.
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt. So I'm actually really pleased that the item was pulled from the consent agenda, which is actually the contract that will follow this intergovernmental agency agreement. So I think what I'd like to do is, with your permission, ask Mr. Billings to come to the podium, who is our Director of Student Support Services and Community Partnerships. So here's that community partnership piece. And Director of Student Services, which entails, of course, the athletics piece. But I'd like him to walk you through what this IGA means for District 6. And then following that IGA, the City of Greeley has actually transferred dollars from the quality of life tax dollars to the District 6 budget to allow us to actually contract with FieldTurf to do the work that you are seeing actually in the contract that was pulled off the consent agenda, which makes a lot more sense to do these back to back. Yeah. So thank you for that amendment to the agenda. And then I'll just say, as Mr. Billings he's ready to go, look at him. I will just say that, this possibility with the City of Greeley that really has allowed us to do so much in terms of our athletic fields, because the City of Greeley is allowed to use those quality of life dollars as an extension of their parks by investing in District 6 school facilities in our parks of our school grounds. And so it's very exciting, and honestly, our kids have the kind of fields that we have and the support we have, like at the district athletic field, and then what you'll see that Bob's going to talk about we'll have at the rest of our facilities. We have these opportunities because of the City of Greeley and because our taxpayers here in our community have committed to that quality of life tax. So Mr. Billings, tag, you're it.
All right, thank you, Dr. Pilch, President DeWitt, members of the board. Thanks for this opportunity. It's an honor to be part of these projects that have been so kindly supported by the City of Greeley, our mayor, city council, city manager, and the leadership throughout. I don't know anywhere else, or I've heard about anything else like this in the country. We are so blessed. And our kids are the benefactors. I'll speak first about this intergovernmental agreement and this memorandum that we have with regard to sharing the facilities first. You go into something having not really done this before. We did the improvement projects at the district stadiums for soccer and football back in 2015. And to give you some context to that, we went back and measured how many events we held at the district stadiums the last full school year in 14-15 when we had natural grass. We had 145 events during that school year on those two fields. Understand that an event could be 4 games or 3 games or 1 game or a marching band contest that lasts all day. But we had 145 events. The first full year after the synthetic turf was installed, we had 345 events on those two facilities. To say that our kids and our community benefited would be an understatement. The impact is something that's difficult to measure, but I can tell you, being out and around and seeing those fields being used by all facets of our community, that includes use, obviously, by our students and our teams and coaches, but it includes significant use by the City of Greeley as our partner, and it also includes some use by outside groups. And that's the protocol that you see within this agreement and this use of facilities. And as Dr. Pilch pointed out, one of the qualifying factors to be able to do these projects is they have to qualify as a community park. And so access to these facilities is one of the pieces that's important. And in these new projects, you have that access through a variety of ways. And we are just very fortunate. When it comes to scheduling these facilities, our programs and activities always have first dibs, take priority, and come first. If the facility is available, then the City of Greeley Culture Parks and Rec Department has the first dibs to come in and schedule their activities. And so in our current situation, they've used the district soccer stadium extensively for soccer matches on Saturdays, as well as football games on Saturdays. Those options are going to be expanded. And then thirdly are the outside groups. So if we're not using it, the city doesn't have something scheduled, then an outside group can request to use those facilities at the rates and process and procedure that the district has in place through our facilities office. So this agreement isn't different than what we've done in the past, and what we've learned is it works very well, and we have great cooperation, and a lot of that's done through Brad Johnson's facility folks, specifically Julie Lewis, who helps run interference on these different groups wanting to access the facility. So obviously one of the worst things you can have happen is somebody shows up and so does somebody else at the same time at the same place, and there's only one field to play on. And to the best of my knowledge, we haven't had that happen. So we're doing something right. With regard to the projects themselves, I come before you this evening with general details of 4 different projects. The first being at Greeley Central High School. Greeley Central High School currently has 6 tennis courts, 2 of which were added back around the year 2000 during the renovations that occurred that time. And I'm not an expert in this, but there's something called post-tension technology that has to do with how concrete is poured and supported. The 2 furthest west courts that are new at Greeley Central are post-tension technology, and they are in excellent shape. The first project will be to replace the other 4 tennis courts at Greeley Central High School with post-tension tennis court technology that will make a tremendous improvement on that facility. The cost of that is right at $233,658.99. That's project number 1. The next 2 projects are at Greeley West High School. If you've been at Greeley West High School, there is a football field and a beautiful cinder track from
Gracious of you, Mr. Billings.
1960-ish, something like that. It is beautiful. Both of those facilities essentially will be demoed, and a new synthetic turf field that will be used for soccer and football, and a new synthetic surface all-weather track will be installed at that site. That's the biggest of these projects at $2,161,908.27. Next are the tennis courts at Greeley West. This is probably the area that needs the most help. Those courts will be completely renovated, all 6 of them, with post-tension concrete technology, and the cost to do all 6 of those is $336,649.19. And lastly, of these facilities that probably currently gets used by the public more than any facility in town is the Heath Middle School site, and the current natural grass turf football field will be replaced with synthetic turf, and the current all-weather track will be resurfaced. And those 2 projects together are $1,329,550.17. And then, so there's part of this project was, the first phase was $2 million at the district stadium. There was a total of $6.57 million that was awarded by City Council back in 2015. And so we have another $395,435.55 that will be site improvements, sidewalks, fence, landscaping, anything related to the site improvements that don't go specific to these projects. That leaves us with about $117,000 unaccounted for in this remaining $4.57 million. This will be the last phase of these projects. And it's just, again, a huge thank you to our friends and colleagues and collaborators at the City of Greeley. It's unprecedented what they have been willing to do to help our students, and ultimately, with this park atmosphere, the whole community. So, do you have any questions?
Well, we may well. This has been information we've been delighted with coming along the way, but this is an action item, so I'm probably, now that I've got clarity from both you and Dr. Pilch on why we're doing exactly what we're doing, I'd be glad to accept a motion at this time to deal with IGA Intergovernmental Agreement number 1.
I move that the Board of Education of Walton County School District 6 approve the intergovernmental agreement with the City of Greeley regarding athletic facility improvements as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Now, Mr. Hafley.
Second? Yeah, we got
Oh,
second.
yeah, we've got a second. Now we have a comment from Mr. Hafley. Sorry, I just skipped right into the next thing.
First of all, I don't think that, I think the people on this board and within the administration understand, but the community doesn't understand how much we should applaud our city manager, Roy Otto, the city council, and the vision that they've had to align themselves with so many entities within the community, starting with us. You know, they're here to serve, and they are not cheap with the choices they make for us, and we need to count our blessings that we work so well. And it's everything from the fields to the ACE board that I know that Mr. Hall's on and you're on. You know, we do leadership, we do soccer, we do it all. And so, you know, to Roy Otto and the City Council, kudos and thanks to you. We greatly appreciate that. I have a crazy tennis question for you.
Uh-oh.
Are they going to leave, is it going to be mandated that those courts are left open, Mr. Billings? Or how is that going to work? Because in the past, they've always been locked, whether it was Greeley Central West or at Northridge. So how will that occur so that we get the most use out of them, please?
Great question. So that's part of that community park qualification. And so those courts will be available to the general public and will be open. So that will be a change that we're more than willing to make the adjustment to provide that space and those facilities to the community at large.
So then will they be able to use those for the USTA leagues in the summertime and the whole bit? They'll just sign up through with Andy McRoberts and his
Actually, all of that would come through the school district. All the scheduling comes through our facilities office. So it would work just like any of our other facilities.
So will they charge the same thing that they charge for the use of Centennial to be able to do that? Or are we just going to say, you've signed up, it's yours?
Our schedule looks a little bit different than the city's in my experiences. I can't tell you exactly, not knowing, but when we've had comparable facility requests, we tend to be more affordable, I would say.
Okay, thank you very much.
Comparatively speaking.
Well done. Mr. Hall.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Bob, for your work in this. I know this has been one of your pet projects and kind of for a couple, 2 or 3 or 4 years now. And City Council, of course, one of the members sitting in the back corner of the room, big kudos on that. Also, the council members that had the foresight to look ahead and envision this program when they passed the program. As we all know, government doesn't make money. The only money it has is what it takes from the citizens underneath it or receives from it. And so the marriage of that concept that produced these fields, it's a landmark across the nation, and it's different, and it just took the vision to see. And so the last thanks I would like to give is to the community itself, because they're the ones footing the bill.
Yep.
It's passing through the administration of the city council and city government. But thanks to all the citizenry, because you invested in your community here in a big way on two big things and in D6. So thank you.
Well, I kind of would feel a little remiss if we didn't throw a kudo or two out toward our mayor, who has been very much a champion for these things that work to advantage our kids and our buildings and I agree with Mr. Hall. This is a great example of your tax money at work, and a decision made by the community to say, yeah, this is worth investing in because there's some clear return for the rest of the kids in this school district, but also for the public in general. So thanks to the mayor, and again, thank you very much for all the efforts to get these things squared away.
My pleasure.
We've had a motion, and we've seconded it for this. Unless there's further discussion, I'm going to ask for a roll call. Ms. Crane?
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, ma'am. The next item is that recently moved item, which you will find on page 5, if someone wants to give me a motion associated with the contract for FieldTurf AIA.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approve the contract FieldTurf AIA.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there a need for further discussion about the intricacies of the contract, which we are the beneficiaries of which we are the, whatever?
Pretty clean.
Comments? All righty. Seeing no further discussion, we've moved and seconded. Roll call, Ms. Crane?
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Well, this concludes our agenda for the evening. This meeting is adjourned. Congratulations.